Hi everyone, welcome to this Google Digital Garage training session on answering questions with data. So my name is Benedict. I'm a trainer for Google's free skills training program, Google Digital Garage. Just a bit about myself, I'm an experienced coding specialist and digital skills trainer, as well as having a background in the digital creative industries and have worked in the sector for over 20 years. I would also like to introduce our amazing moderator, Rushain. Rushain is also a Google Digital Garage coach and will be interacting. Sorry, just one moment. Just a moment. I'm going to turn that on. Rushain is also a Google Digital Garage coach and will be interacting with you and answering just about all your questions via the instant chat to the right. You can identify the moderator by her name, as well as a little blue spanner next to her name. Now, just before we start, I just want to call out a few things to help you today. Firstly, if you are having any trouble viewing the webinar at any time, please do try refreshing your page. If you would like to join the instant chat, please do. It's a great opportunity for you to interact with us. You do need a YouTube account, which you can very easily set up by clicking on the box, which will be on the right there. Now, we will be pausing throughout the session to answer some of the questions. Rushain will kindly pass some of the questions on to me, which will be fabulous, so I can answer those particular questions personally. Just to let you know, now we are running this Google Digital Garage virtual training as part of a broad offering of courses. If you would like to check out our schedule of upcoming webinar training, please see information on this in the description below, which links you through to our website. Just one other thing, when I finish giving the talk, up till 24 hours after the talk, you can go with the same address and everything and see the talk and go back to it. However, of course, I don't recommend you do that now because then you'll miss out in the chat now. So rather just stay with us now, and then right at the end, you can go back to it up till 24 hours after I finish the talk. Okay, great. So that is what we call the housekeeping done. Let us now get started on answering questions with data, or getting started with analytics, which is really the same thing here now. So I'm going to be showing you these particular things. Now, these are the three areas we're covering. Firstly, to understand the really important questions to ask about your online activity. The second one is understanding how we can make sense of online data to address these questions. And then thirdly, understand how to use analytics data to actually understand what it tells us about our business. So we've got here, ask the right questions, learn which tools to actually use, and thirdly, use the data from Google Analytics. So the big questions I want to ask you now, other than what would be really nice, is if you can communicate with us and tell us the different places you're actually signing on from, that would be fabulous. Rushain will pass some of these across to me, which would be really nice. But if you can share some of that, that'll be really nice. And I can welcome you from the different places that you are actually signing on from. Okay. So a couple of the questions to ask yourself. What are you actually trying to achieve? In other words, what are you trying to achieve online? And what questions do you need to answer to help you achieve your particular goal? Okay. What are those particular things? And which reports can actually help you find the answers that you particularly need? All right. So I'm just going to quickly set that. Great. Sorry, I'm just getting this set up quickly so I can, which will be quite nice, I can actually see some of your chat whilst I'm giving the talk, which would be really nice. So just bear with me a moment. I'm just moving it across here so I can actually see some of you there. Okay, perfect. All right, I can see already, just to give poor Rushain a little bit less today, I'm going to see different places where you're signing on from. Welcome, Shraddha from India. Hello, Savinoz. I'm sorry, I'm doing my best with the pronunciation. Welcome, Vasu. Okay, let me just see now. Different places I'm looking for. Different place. Oh, Bangladesh. Abdullah from Bangladesh. Welcome. Samiksha from India, welcome. Rahul from India, Shraddha from India, Ali from Pakistan, Kalin from UK, Drishti from UAE, welcome, and Coin from Nigeria, and Amal from Kerala. Welcome to all of you from different walks of life, different places that you're actually signing on. It's really great to have all of you here present. So, let me just move on now with the talk. So you've got those three things we are going to be covering. The big thing as well is you need to be asking yourself these questions. Ask yourself now. You might not come with all the answers, but the point is you get your brain starting to function and thinking about the different things. Okay, all right. Now, let us get started now. So free one-to-one mentoring. Now there's free one-to-one mentoring, which is available from Google. So you could be talking to one of us. Great opportunity. We can help you and assist you and give you feedback and give you suggestions, and you can, throw your ideas at us, as it were. You do need, though, to be, at present, it's only for the businesses in the UK or the charities in the UK. At present, in the UK, we're hoping eventually this will expand. And Rushain will give you the list, the link. It's g.co/UK mentoring. And thank you very much, Rushain. Okay, so there we go. So great opportunity. So if you are in the UK, if you're a small company or charity, great opportunity. Don't miss out on it. Okay, let us get started with asking the right questions. Okay, we're going to look at the most important questions you should be asking and answering using data, okay, about your business and in particular how it is doing online. Now, obviously, this is for all of you, so this is a general direction. I can't answer specific things with your particular, obviously, Rushain can't answer that specific questions with your companies, but we're going to help you here to give you an idea where to get started and everything. All right, excellent. I can see some questions coming up. This is wonderful. So we're going to look at this. This is now an overarching 4-step framework, getting answers from data. All right. Sorry, I say got data. I know a lot of people say data. I say data. Okay, got to be different. So getting the right answers involves asking the right questions, all right? Now, this overarching framework for today's data session is really for thinking about the types of goals and or objectives you should be setting to measure the success of your business online, particularly. Because until you can actually say this is success, you can't really gauge it as much. So what is my objective? What question do I need to ask? Let's go through them. And where do I get that information and what do I do with that information? Let's go through. For the first one, what is my objective? Firstly, defining what your actual objectives are, okay? So the big thing is there are many, many things you can track and measure using data from the internet. Now, one reasonable question is what is important to track and what is not. So your online objectives should tie in with what your business is trying to achieve, okay? We cover defining your online objectives in your digital marketing strategy session. So if you would like to learn more about it, check out the schedule in the description below to see when we're actually running these different things. So if you can communicate with us a little bit about your business, your product or service, and think as well about your most valuable customers and ways to engage with previous customers as well. If you can communicate that a little bit with Rushain, that'll be fabulous. She might pass on some to me. I can see some of it on my screen now as well. Okay. What question do I need to address? All right, so to actually get the right information or data, you've got to frame the questions correctly, all right? So types of questions to ask about your business. Now, we're looking at this as what's called the REAN framework, just from those letters, R-E-A-N, REAN framework. Now, these are the different stages that your company might be at, okay? So first of all, if you are at that stage where you're reaching out, getting more and more clients, you're needing to get more and more clients, a possible one could be, who is my target audience and how do I reach them online, which is so important, because to be able to get to them, how do you actually need to reach them? Engage. If there's a lot of people going to your website, they're going there and everything, and then but they're not buying whatever you're selling, for example, are they finding what they need? So if you have got a lot already going to your website, that's great, but are they actually finding what they need? Are they buying it? Are they downloading the PDF? Are they contacting you? All of those different things. And then activate, which was largely what I was bringing up with the next one. So engagement towards activating. Are they actually booking? Are they buying? Are they downloading? Are they communicating with you? If it's a community, are they communicating? Are they interacting with you? If it's a charity, are they, as well? Are they interacting with you, getting information? They're downloading the PDF. All of those different things with the activate side. Then we've got nurture. Now, once you've actually got those clients, that's absolutely wonderful. But are those same clients coming back again when they're buying? Let's say it's something which they have to buy every 2 months or 6 months or whatever it might be. Or even if it's not that, are they coming back? Do they like what they see there? Are they comfortable with what they've purchased or what service you're providing them? So nurture is that process of coming back. So it's reach, engage, activate, and nurture. Okay. Now, reach questions. These are sort of the kind of more specifically to these particular things. How are people finding me online? And what are my target customers searching for? What are they really looking for? All right, 2 very important questions that could be coming up with reach. Obviously, with your business, you'll know more specifically. Just going back to that one there, it's who is my target audience and how do I reach them online, which is, of course, more specifically, how are people finding me online? What are my target customers searching for? So we've got, for example, to illustrate, these particular things, these questions, it could be, okay, I'm going to move on from that. So that's, I think, a clear enough idea there. Now, engage questions. What are people engaging with once they find me online? What pages are they going to? How long are they spending there? Are they actually reading that whole post by the time that they're spending there? All of those different things, very, very important. And which of my online communications are people engaging with the most? So those 2 very important questions that do come up. All right. Okay. Now, activate questions. Which channels are driving bookings? Okay. And who is my customer? Can you build up a persona to really describe this customer so you've got a really clear idea of who you're actually targeting? Then we've got here nurture questions. Are my customers talking about my business online? All right. Or do my customers buy from me again? Do they come back for more? All right. Okay, pausing for questions. We've got a bit of time now for questions. Taha Yavud Cher. I'm not quite sure I'm doing the pronunciation there correctly, Taha. But hi, Ben. Have you operated your own small business before? Absolutely, yes. All of us who work for Google Digital Garage, all of us have run our own companies. My own company was 2D, 3D, and whiteboard animation company, and I've run it for many years. Now I'm changing across to another business at the moment, and I'm starting with music side, particularly in the direction of film and media, that kind of side. So we do have that experience. I will be using some examples with my own company just to give you an idea. But don't forget, I don't want to color this too much. This is the basic thing that you can apply to so many different businesses. Once we get into more specifics, I can give you a little bit more examples. Crystal, How do you know, let me see now, the different customer journeys before they purchase? Very, very good question. If you have more than one customer, how do you build a profile around the different customer segments? Okay, excellent. Two very, very good questions. Now, if you've got more than one customer, and how do you, so with the journeys before they purchase, this is going to be coming up very soon. So I don't want to kind of spoil it too much there, Crystal. If you have more than one customer, and how do you build a profile? The more information you can get about your customers, the better. Now, we are going to be talking particularly about Google Analytics today, so we're going to be covering those particular areas. And that will give you a clear idea as a start. It's not the only source of information, there's other places. There's also, for example, if you only use social media, then that's absolutely fine. There's feedback, there's always analytics. With all the social media, there's always feedback that you can use, which is really useful. We will be speaking particularly about Google Analytics to assist you and help you and get you started with all of that. But it does still, there's other sources as well. Social media is often a very communicative form of media. And of course, the more you can find out from there. The other side, Crystal, is you can look at your competitors. It can often seem negative. Competitors, got to beat them and all the rest. But the point is, you can learn from the different competitors. Who do they particularly interact with? What is the communication about? Are there some areas maybe that they don't manage to really match or answer? Could you be discovering your unique selling point that is actually providing those people who are searching for those particular things? Are you actually providing, are you able to provide for those people as well? Okay, so I hope that helps you, Crystal. I haven't really answered the first one, the customer journeys before they purchase, but I will be going through this in the talk, okay? And I don't want to overcomplicate things by rushing things too much, so I will come back to that, Crystal. Diegesis, hope that's pronounced correctly. My team have a non-commercial project targeting academia. Is that right? Yes, absolutely. We would like to build a community, and we want academias to interact with each other and engage with the content. Absolutely. That's absolutely wonderful, Diegesis. I would have said, more than anything, you need a form of social media where they can interact, where they can talk about the different things. Of course, you can have that within your website, because as you know, with websites, you could have a static website, or you could have posts and different posts going out. So that's another format. You could be discussing different things or giving them advice, and then people could give their response, and that way they could be interacting. If you're looking for something where they can interact with each other even more, another way is if you're we've got a talk on getting started with live streaming. So if you've got somebody they're live streaming, just as you are to a certain extent interacting a little bit with each other now, that's one way you could be using as well. And if you've got a YouTube channel, for example, or different forms of video, then people could be seeing that and maybe giving their response and what they feel. And so that's another form of communication. Often people need something to communicate about. So you're kind of bringing up the topic to discuss, which you putting in your posts, that you're putting in the videos and that kind of thing. I hope that helps. All right. I hope that helps, Diegesis. Ali, how to win customers' interest depending on your product or business? Now, Ali, that's a very good question, but the point is customers' interest depending on your product or business. The point is here largely you need to, of course, do as much research as possible. If you're just starting up and you haven't established a lot of the different things and found out from your customers, you can find out from your competitors, you can find out even more information. So research is the best thing to do. And even though you can't track, of course, obviously the number of people who are visiting and all the rest, but you can put Google alerts, for example, if there's another post or another, so you can keep reading it, keep up to date on the different things. That can help you a little bit. The point is, Ali, is that you look into the different things, that you look into people who are providing something which is similar to yours, you can learn a lot, and then you can learn how you are different as well. Unique selling point, of course, and just changing it and providing those particular things. I hope that helps you there, Ali. Crystal, gosh, two more from Crystal. So how do you manage A/B testing if you have 3 types of customer segments with different routes of purchase? Okay. That's a challenging question, Crystal, because we're going to be covering all of those different things. Now, certainly within Google Analytics, you can do some of the different things. If you're looking for A/B testing, there's Google Optimize. That's with a Z, American spelling. Google Optimize you can use to help you do a little bit of A/B testing as well. To try out the different things that work and everything. One of the biggest things there, Crystal, is the more that you can get info. I mean, obviously, you're learning from the people around you and everything, the people who are providing something similar. So you're learning from those different things. Then when you put it into practice, then you are constantly getting feedback. So it's constantly learning. It's a process of constantly learning. So you can, I mean, ideally, if you test them out, and then, obviously that's not A/B testing, but you can try out A, you can try out B. Then you've got to get all that feedback, all right? Crystal is a tool to help us map the journey. Absolutely, there is, for planning purposes. Yes, I'll be covering that just now. Jorge, what elements, you can tell I lived in Spain for 7 years. Jorge, what elements do you need to apply analytics for risk management purposes? Okay, all right. Now, Jorge, with particular risk management purposes, that's going a little bit further. I'm going to introduce you to this for now. I can only cover within a certain time, and I'm already over the 20 minutes. So I'm going to introduce you to this. If you're going further with that, you might need a little bit more one-to-one so we can help you and assist you. Okay, wonderful. Great to have all these questions. It's really great. Let us now get started with this. Okay, so which tools to use? So now we're going to cover some of the different tools. And all right, which tools to use to get answers to our Rian questions? Remember, reach, engage, activate, and nurture as well. So where do I get that information from? So if you look at the different tools, there is Google Analytics. You can also use something like Google AdWords as well. You can use Google Search Console. As soon as you set up a website, Rushen, if you can provide the link there for Google Search Console, it's very useful. As soon as your website appears on the internet, Google, as a search engine, will detect it, try to get as much information as possible, and it will index your web page. Now, the point of Google Search Console is to give you feedback about your particular website, as well as gives you a little bit of an idea of how people are finding your website. Okay. So Google Search Console is very useful for those particular things. For things like, are you optimizing your images for the web and that kind of thing. So Google Search Console can give you a lot of help there. Social media platforms, there's YouTube, can give you a lot of analytics as well. There's Facebook, of course, has got its own insights as well. And Twitter also provide the information you need to actually answer the crucial business questions, we went through earlier. So there are many different things you can use. All right. The tools that we can use, there are, for example, social, Google search, the social media particularly. Then there's also the organic search as well, to find out how people are finding the different things. Now, for that kind of thing, you can use Google Analytics, for example, to give you the feedback. You can use your website and also paid search as well. So there's different things you can use. So social media page insights. All right. Now, such as, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, they all offer page insights, where you can actually see how people are engaging with your social media and finding you. Now, it's a super handy tool if you have a Facebook page set up for your business. Some businesses don't actually set up separate websites, so social media might be your main way to engage with customers. Quite possible. It's whatever works. use that more than anything. Then there's features, there's free tool on all business pages, and you can measure all on-page activity, and you can get information about page fans as well. This one over here, let me just use I will zoom in a little bit. Oh, it's just having to wake up my remote, which I haven't actually been using. So just one moment whilst it wakes up. If it is going to wake up now, I think I had on the other computer, there's a problem. But you've got some information. I'll read a little bit what's on the screen there, and I'll take myself off the screen just so you can see it a little bit closer. You got there at the top left, you've got actions on page, you've got page views, page likes, the number. You can see it over time as well. You've got the timeline at the bottom. You've got reach, post engagements, videos, page followers, all of these different things just to get you started. All right. Okay. Google Search Console. Now, this is really very useful information. As I said, you remember I said how it actually happens. You verify that this is your website. Then, of course, Google will send all the information to you. To give you some examples, things like, if your image is not optimized, if you don't have alternate text for people who have problems with their site or are blind, for example. So things like that, it'll give you feedback and quite a lot of technical stuff as well. But it's also got a page where it gives you a little bit of how people have found your site. I'm going to expand this as well, how they found your site, and also particular things that they were searching for, which is really useful. So you can see down there, I know it's a little bit unclear, it's a little bit small, but bottom right, you can see some things down there, and those are actually keywords that people were actually searching for. Okay, so Google Search Console is very, very useful with that. Now, this all integrates with Google Analytics, so you can actually see your Search Console data in Google Analytics. Sometimes some people have problems, so make sure that it is all working and that it is interlinked, but normally it does it automatically. Okay, so there's Google Search Console to give you a lot of help. Okay, so there's that one. Google Business Profile. Now, this is a tool, of course, for organic search insights. Now, the great thing about Google Business Profile is once you've got it set up, it is totally free. And when people search for something, of course, at the top, they will get the advertisements, then underneath the organic search result. And on the right-hand side, if there's only one business who provides this particular thing, or, then it'll appear on the right-hand side as a Google Business Profile. If not, often it'll give you a map with the different places. Let's say, for example, animation where I live, there's a lot of different companies. So there'll be a lot of different people, a lot of different companies, but they'll see the map and they can click on it and find out information. And there's lots of information you've got there. Things like, when it's open and everything. And a lot of people need to know that information, therefore, when they can call and that kind of thing. And then it also gives you some feedback. So here we've got direct and discovery, for example. So there's different links of how people actually found you. So discovery is they searched for it, they found it, they clicked on it, they linked on it. And then, of course, direct, they went directly to that particular page. So it's got its own insights, which I've just been going through with you now. So, it shows how well your business listing platforms actually do, when they actually find you. All right. Okay. Then, of course, there is a big one. This one, of course, is Google Analytics. You can sign up for free. Now, most popular website analytics, the great thing about this is totally free. You have to get a piece of coding. You go through the whole process. Now, and we're going to go through the whole process of setting it up and all the rest. Okay, and I'm going to expand a little bit on this one as well. So let me move now on to questions so far. So, Shabnam, which social media tools are best for insights? Shabnam, I can't really sort of say which ones are best. It depends what market you're looking for, what you're out for, and that kind of thing. Sometimes, some are best known. For example, we've got a talk on social media strategy, Shabnam. If you turn up to that, that might help you as well. Because, I mean, there's ones which are for particular things which help you. I mean, there's Facebook, often communication is happening on that. There's Twitter, often with businesses, very short. It was associated originally with very short little things which are coming out. But I can't really give which are the best. But the biggest question, Shabnam, you need to ask yourself is not which gives you the best insights, but which social media would be the best for your company. Which social media is bringing the most people? And I'll be showing you a little bit with Google Analytics how to help you with that. Taha, okay, when you started your business, what were the most useful resources for yourself, for myself personally? Okay, what research did you do? Say, yes, this is a field I want my business to be in. Okay, Taha, that's largely with my own business. I did a lot of research. Funnily enough, I did 2D and 3D animation, just to give you an example. And I got contacted by a company who wanted, a very big company, global consultancy company, who wanted whiteboard animation. So I developed particularly on that side. And so that was largely learning from my clientele. And then there was another company who wanted the same thing. So eventually I started to specialize in it. The biggest thing, Taha, is you've got to work out what you can do, what you can provide, and see where if you look through the different people who are asking for the different things, and if you can find that particular niche where you provide something which other companies don't, is it a very quick delivery, or is it sending across to another country? Is it translating into their particular language in the different country? There's all sorts of different things to help you. But I will be covering some things, Taha, to help you a little bit. Something which I found very useful as well, and this is obviously bringing more clientele back as well. If you think about it, your clientele that you have at the moment, what questions do they ask? Even if you don't have clientele yet, look at the different questions that they're asking. Think of your different titles for your blog, for example, that you can be putting on your website, talking about those different things. A company, for example, one of the top 3 consultancy companies contacted me about whether to use 2D or 3D animation for very important clientele that I can't mention any names at the moment, but they were very important clientele. So I called her back and I said, I was out of time, but I called her back and I gave her the pros and cons of 2D and 3D, talking about the time-wise, the price-wise, all that kind of side. And then I also mentioned whiteboard animation, which by then my company specialized in. She said, thank you very much. I said, no problem. I didn't try to sell anything. The old days of selling things often doesn't work that well. The point is, people will go on the internet to find out information. Anyway, going back to this particular case, 5 or 6 hours later, they called me back and they wanted to take on my company. And the point is, I'd spoken to them, I'd given them that information for free. They could see in the information I was providing that I knew what I was talking about. So, of course, that was very helpful for them. And obviously, they wanted whiteboard animation, so I'd introduced a new concept to them, very true. But the big thing is, the more that you're providing help and assistance to people online, the more they will start to see you as an expert in the particular area. We've got a talk on writing for social media. I recommend that one as well. It's very helpful to give you an idea how to write it, how to put together what topics to come up with. I later used that as a title, 2D or 3D animation, which is the best for your company. It was my most read blog. And of course, it was using the questions that they came up and asked me. And that's how I found that I could write blogs, which were really important. So the same sort of way, when you're writing blogs, you're finding what people will really want to find out and know and discover. And, so I hope that helps you a little bit. Taha. But that gives you an example anyway with my own company. Crystal, can we use Google Analytics if we only sell through social media and third-party distribution platforms with a buy now button? Okay. with Google Analytics, when you first set it up, I believe you really do you do need a website, because you register your website and you verify that it's your website and everything, and then you go through the process, and all the different things of how people are finding it is coming from social media, it's coming from the search, coming from different things, but it's all leading towards the website. So you can, well, the difficulty is you can't really without a website. So you do need a website to actually be able to work some of these different things. Also, if you have if you're going to use Google Ads, got to make sure I keep within the time limit. But with Google Ads, for example, a lot of people set up Google Ads. They set up an advertisement. For example, display campaigns often work better because people see things and remember things with words, with a search query often. But, it's up to you. It's what suits you best. But when it actually goes through to the website, it's ideal if you've got a landing page which is set up. So then people, of course, click through onto the landing page. Then you're carrying on the conversation. What kind of landing page would be useful for getting information for analytics? Okay, the big thing for your landing page is if you've got, you could have I think what you mean by a landing page, you're talking about a website where people are actually going there. Is that correct? So they go there to find out. Don't forget, Crystal, that people will look in the different places where you are. I'm not talking about carbon footprint. No, I'm talking about digital footprint. Where are you? They'll check out your website. They'll check out social media. They'll check out as many different places where you might appear. So if you do have, you don't have to have a website, but if you do have a website, then at least, of course, they have a place to check out. You can set up a landing page, so it takes them through across there. Well, not a landing page, but I think you're talking about like a sort of website just for taking them through, and then you can buy through there. Absolutely, you can do that. What kind of landing page would be useful for getting information? The most important thing is if it's a conversation when you start somewhere else, you're carrying on the conversation so they feel VIPs, but you've got calls to action. Now, calls to action are, for example, to buy. So if they're in a rush, they just want to buy it, have at the top, buy that, and they can click on and buy. If they want a little bit more communication, a little bit more information, whatever, you can provide that and, treat them with great respect. Okay, I hope that helps you, Crystal. Let us move now on to the next section, because this is quite a big section. We've got 23 minutes to cover this. Now, use the data from Google Analytics. It's not the be-all or end-all. We're providing this to you to help you, to give you an idea. There's other sources, of course, but I'm going to show you some of the different things to help you get started at least. All right. So what do I do with that information? Now, that's a very, very important question, that you can take this information, interpret it, and understand what it says to you, okay? So now, this is a Google Analytics dashboard. I'll just make it a bit bigger for you to see a little bit quicker, a bit easier. The dashboard, basically, you put all the important information you put on the dashboard. So you need to know where to find it and everything. Once you've got it there, you put it on the dashboard, and you can keep checking. Now, I'm a musician, for example, and I used to teach music a bit of time ago. I can't remember how many children, I used to say, look, it's great you practice 3 hours before this lesson, but it's even better if you practice 10 minutes a day. It's the same thing with any tool if you're using it regularly. And the great thing about Google Analytics dashboard, you can set it up so you've got all the information there. So you can dip in there and check it out. And it gets your brain working on the different things, because the different things, you discover who your users are by geographic location. You discover how you actually acquired them, the visits and when they visit as well. That's quite important as well, for example, for your blogs and that kind of thing. Okay, so how to set up a Google Analytics account. Now, I'm going to be covering a couple of different things. Now, if you've got you go to analytics.google.com. Now, if you go to analytics.google.com, if you've got a website already, okay, sorry, I beg your pardon. If you've got Google Analytics already, what I want you to do is I want you to go down bottom left. There's a cog. Click on it, which is for admin. When you've clicked on the admin, how many columns do you see? If you see 3, you are on Google Analytics version 3. If you see 2 columns in front of you, you're on Google Analytics version 4. I'll repeat that. If you've got analytics.google.com, you can go onto it. You click on the admin bottom left, which is a cog, and you see how many columns face you. If it's 3, it's Google Analytics 3. 2 is Google Analytics version 4. Now, Google Analytics version 4 is the up-to-date version. It's going to be changing halfway through next year. I will be talking large about Google Analytics 3, but I will also be referring to Google Analytics version 4 to help you. Okay. Whether you are now, if you set up with Google Analytics quite recently during this year, for example, somewhere around time during this year, I mean, obviously you can check which version you've got, but now by default, it'll put you into Google Analytics version 4 because everything's going to be changing to that. And in fact, halfway through next year, everything will be changing to that. Still, there's an Google Analytics Academy. I recommend it. I mean, last time I saw it, it was only Google Analytics version 3. Even if you've got Google Analytics version 4, I recommend you go through it. There's beginners, intermediate, advanced. It's totally free. And the point is you can get to know it. That's the whole point. You get to know the tool. But if you've only got 2 columns when you're an admin, in Google Analytics 4, but you can still take the course and get to know it. And some things won't quite match. That's all. Okay, so that is analytics.google.com. So you go, this is the process. I'll describe this process to get you started. So whatever version it is, you go into analytics.google.com, choose a name for your account, and choose an industry category. Okay, those are the steps you take. Then the next thing you do, now you go into admin. Do you remember I said there was a cog in the bottom? I'm going to make myself nice and small so you can't see me. There you can see the cog bottom left. It's a blue color. That is the one I'm talking about. You go into admin, therefore. Now, you will see under property settings, you go into tracking info, you go into tracking code, and that's where you get the tracking ID. So it's ready to track your site's performance. You'll need to add the correct tracking code to every single one of the pages. You might ask me now, where do you actually place this on the page? You put it in the header. Or you can with the footer, but it'll be really best in the header. So you put in the header, just to make it simpler. So you put it in the header of each of your different pages. If you want something like WordPress, whatever, there will be plugins, or Wix, or whatever. There'll be plugins to help you to do that, okay? So there's that. Now, if you're using Google Analytics version 4, you click on that cog, you go into admin. Then you go into, it's the second column, it's property, and you go into data streams. You go into data streams, and then you actually take them through to the page, and it's not called tracking ID, it's called measurement ID. And it's a measurement ID you can put at the header of each of the different pages. All right. There's another system which is to do with tagging. Obviously, you can read about that. I don't have time to cover everything of that, but that in your own time. So just to give you the basic difference, just so you're not going to panic and think, my God, what's happening? I don't understand. It's not what he said. At least you know. So version 3 and version 4. Okay. Now, let us move on. So it's in the head tag. It's in the head between what we call square, because you put the square like that. So in the square brackets, it says head, and then comes out / head. So you put it in somewhere in there. Okay. Now, so how to install the tracking code, or do you remember with Google Analytics version 4, it's called measurement ID. So regardless how you actually build your website, the code needs to be installed on every page of your site. Your developer should be able to help you with this. But if you actually got, as I said, WordPress, Wix, or GoDaddy, for example, there normally is a guide on this on their site. And don't forget your host is there to assist you and help you. So it should be able to help you. For example, with WordPress, you can install the plugin. Okay. All right. Now, once you've done all of that, it's all quite exciting. You've got the information there. You can now start reading the information. Now, 4 main areas of reporting. I'm going to cover these 4 main areas, Google Analytics version 3 and Google Analytics version 4, but I'm okay. Now, Google Analytics 3 or 4, you get audience, who are they? All right. So that's where you get the answer to the questions, who are they, audience, okay? Acquisition, how did they find me? Google Analytics 3 or 4, how did they find me? Acquisition. Now, behavior in Google Analytics version 4, it's called engagement. This seems more appropriate as well. So behavior in version 3, Google Analytics 4 is engagement. What are they actually doing when they're there? Conversions, okay. With Google Analytics version 4, there we talk about monetization with an S, not a Z. And that will answer you. So you've got behavior, behavior or engagement, what are they doing? Conversions or monetization, what are they worth to me? Of course, a lot of with conversions or monetization, you often need to set up goals to track these different things. Okay. And you need to set up goals within admin. That would be quite simple and easy. You can look for different things to help you on that. You can Google it to help you. And also don't forget there's Google Analytics Academy, which Rushane very kindly gave you the link to. Excuse me. Right, now, and if you lose it, don't forget, just go to Google and Google Analytics Academy. So here we've got data in Google Analytics. All right, so on the left-hand side, we've always got the dimension, the what, okay? So organic search, referral, direct, paid search, social, affiliates, display, for example. And on the right-hand side, it's the metrics, the numbers that is actually coming back. So users, new users, sessions, all of those different things to help you. So the green on the left is telling you to kind of answer which or what questions, okay? And the metrics is how many, answering the how many questions. Okay, right. Using Rian to ask the right questions. Okay, so let's go through this. Now, this I will cover in Google Analytics 3, partly because of the time, and also just because you can check this out, Google it a little bit to help you for Google Analytics version 4. Later, we will be providing a little bit more information, but at the moment, they're not part of the talks. So I'm going to cover these with you. So there is, starting off with reach. So how are people finding me online? Okay, let me just take myself off the screen there. So you go into Google Analytics, you go into acquisition, all traffic, channels, reports, okay? And you got there, under all traffic, you've got channels. So you've got all traffic channels. So that's what you'd be looking for, those particular things. That gives you information about their particular website. And you can see what is at the top. Let's see who can tell me. What is the you can read this, I know it's quite small, but what is their main, how are most people finding you online? Let's see if there's any response. I know there's a slight delay, so I'll give you a little bit of chance to respond to this. So have a look at that on the right-hand side and see which one is right at the top. I must admit, this is, this is quite nice to be able to have this number of, oh, great, yes, Taha, Serbenos, yes, and Rahul, absolutely, organic search. It would be wonderful if one managed to get that. Oh, yes, well done, Hassan, yes, organic search. It'd be really nice. It is often quite difficult at the beginning to get that high, that number of people from organic search, but it's fabulous you've got that number. Then you've got particularly referral, direct, social, paid search, affiliates, and right at the bottom, display. So all of those different sides. Okay, so that gives you something. So organic search, of course, the highest number, referrals coming in second. All right. So think about those different things and how that can help you. To give you some of the different ideas, with this, what can we do with this information, which is a vital part. A lot of people get started on it, but then they don't complete the whole process. Now, the big thing here, if you actually, as well, another thing, if you click on the link here that you've got there, if you click on it, it'll give you even more information, which is really useful. So you can see which terms were actually being found, were actually being looked for, okay? And if you're doing a lot of posting on social media with the intention to drive traffic to the website, then of course we can track it arriving from here as well. And then referrals, any other websites that send traffic our way, and we can investigate them, see whether to strengthen a relationship with them. That's just some of the different things. And also possibilities of things like ones which aren't doing as well, maybe you could work together to drive more traffic as well. Okay, so next one here. What are people engaging with when they actually find me online? Now, Crystal, I know from a long time ago you asked me about tracking what happens when they go onto the website. This is particularly to help you. Well, to help everyone, but you get me what I mean. Sorry, I just realized I've taken myself off the page. So what are people engaging with when they actually find me online? Okay, I'll disappear again. So Google Analytics, behavior, site content, all pages. Okay, sorry, I don't have my magnifying glass to work with me, but I can tell you that it's in Google Analytics. Of course, it's Google Analytics, it's behavior, it's site content, and then, of course, you can see all the different pages. Now, anyone can see the most visited page of all of them. Sorry, I haven't gone into live chat now, so I can see all the responses. So what is right at the top of what people are actually searching for? Let's just see now. I'll give you a little bit of time to see that. It is quite small. My apologies. I've tried to make it as big as I can without my magnifying glass, but can you see that? Anyone? Thank you, Rahul. Nefelik Serbinov. Absolutely, it's the homepage. Now, you will typically see the homepage right at the top often because, of course, a lot of things will take them to the homepage. Absolutely. So also another thing which is quite useful is you can actually see the entrances, bounce rate, and average time on the page as well. Now, all of these different things are really useful to give you an idea. Okay, so of course, it actually tells us which page users come across and navigate to when on your actual website. You can tell from the metrics, how long did they actually read the whole blog? Did they click on other things? All of these different things they can help you with. All right. Now, so what are people engaging with when they find me online? Okay, so what could we actually do with this information, which is a crucial point? So actually, by learning which of our pages our visitors spend their time and which they leave quickly, we can understand what they like in order to create more interesting content for them, okay? Now, if we have a video on a page and people hang around on that page for longer than it takes, to play them, maybe they're finding it interesting. If they actually leave halfway through, what is putting them off? Now, don't forget, you can track things on YouTube as well. You can see when they left. Why did suddenly 90% of them leave at that point? There's all this feedback to help you. Now, of course, we get lots of traffic to a page, but a high bounce rate, then we need to check if we're actually showing them what they want to see when we get there. There's also what's called negative keywords. If you're attracting the wrong crowd and they're ending up there, you can use negative keywords as well, which is a minus before it, and that's to make sure those particular people are finding your website, unfortunately, a bit of the time. So we can also see if any of our processes need reviewing. Lots of abandoned baskets might tell us there is a problem with the checkout. They're spending ages on the payment page. Maybe we need to get it more fluid, the whole thing, so that it goes smoothly through. Maybe you need to offer more things like PayPal or whatever so they can do it nice and easily. Okay. So using Rian to ask the right questions. Which channel is driving the most bookings? All right, so I'll take myself off again here. So we've got here now, which channel is driving the most bookings? You go on to acquisition, all traffic, channels. Now you see on the right-hand side which channel is driving the most bookings. Now with this, of course, you have had to set up goals within Google Analytics. And with those, you can actually track, it'll add those columns at the end to help you. And then, of course, the great thing is you can have, so the highest number at the top, you can do that with those ones who are actually booking. And then you can follow their particular journey and you can learn the ones who actually buy from you, what is their particular journey. Okay. All right. Now, let me move on to activate. So identify which channel is driving the most bookings. So identify which referring sites drive conversions. For referring sites bringing good quality traffic, can we develop a partnership, Look out for underperforming referring sites and consider reviewing the partnership maybe, okay? Just a couple of the different things. Okay, so using Rian to ask the right questions, nurtures about what happens after we've activated the relationship. Do they leave a review somewhere? Do they book again? Are there ways we can get them to leave a review? I mean, I know with myself, I go, yeah, I'll leave a survey, and then I don't, because it's time spent doing these different things. So, are my customers happy to leave a review? As well as monitoring reviews on sites like Google Business Profile and Facebook. To answer this question, you can collect and track post-purchase reviews on your own website. Now, this website has set up the key points of their sales funnel as a series of goals so they can actually track them in Google Analytics. Let me just put this here so you can see it a bit more clearly. Now, because you're looking at a goal, check out the conversion menu. This area is highly customizable, so it will be empty until you start creating goals to track. Remember, I said goals. You need to set up goals. So goals don't have to be e-commerce. They can be anything that is a key action for you. Download a document, sign up for something, or visit a certain number of pages. Even spend a certain amount of time on a page nowadays. And you can set those up now with Google Analytics, which is very useful. So you can track all of those different things and have them as goals. So are my customers happy to leave a review? What can we do with this information? Get genuine feedback from people we know have bought our products, respond to all reviews, good and bad. We've got one on writing for social media, responding to good and positive and negative reviews. And then try different ways to encourage purchasers to leave a review. What works best? Do more of that. Things like maybe even a 20% off or something. Special offer with them. Pausing for questions. Okay, Crystal, can you use Google Analytics tracking codes in emails? And no, Crystal, this is slightly different because you would be using, if you're using it in emails, you're going to be using something like MailChimp, for example, or Drip or SendGrid, things like that, where you're actually sending to many different people, and you can track all those different things to help you. Crystal, can Google Analytics work for sites like Amazon, Etsy to understand where your traffic is coming from? You certainly can find out if they're coming from Amazon or Etsy to your website to buy, yes. But the reverse way, no, they can't really track you going to there from there, if that makes sense. The big thing is people coming to there. It can be a bit difficult sometimes when you're tracking the different things. If they're going to buy in Amazon, if they're going to buy in Etsy, then I'm afraid you need to put on the inspector hat and try to work out a couple of different things, because there'll be some links which unfortunately you're losing there. Hassan, what is the difference between the Google ads, because it also gives insight about the people's behaviors, and Google Analytics data? Don't forget, they're all these different applications, they're all part of Google. So of course they do overlap a little bit. So you can get just about the amount of information from Google ads you can get lots of information from Google Ads, and you can also from Google Analytics. But Google Analytics is even, there's masses of information. The big thing is finding what you need. Ali, how to find out if viewers actually like the product or not through ads on YouTube or social platforms, because usually viewers just skip it when the ad shows up in the middle of viewers. Yes, you can certainly track it within YouTube. You can use YouTube Analytics to help you, and social platforms as well. You've got all those analytics to help you to how to find if viewers actually like the product or not through ads on YouTube or social platforms. It's largely you can track all of those things, and then if they follow through and they like it and they buy it, you can follow those different things. Okay, I've got to look at the time because we're running out of time. I've got 0 minutes left. So what are your next steps? What I recommend more than anything, you probably all know this term SMART goals, which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. You've mentioned in other talks we give. You set it up something so that you're going to really try and do all these different things, and then you set as your tool Google Analytics of different social media, YouTube Analytics, for example, or Facebook Analytics. All of these things to help you, but don't overwhelm yourself too much. Really put what you need on the dashboard to help you as well. So there's a lot to take away, a lot to take in. Don't forget, up to 24 hours you can watch this video. After that, I'm afraid not. You need to book for another session. Okay. Free one-to-one mentoring available. So do you work for a small business or charity in the United Kingdom? Sign up for Google Mentoring at g.co/UK mentoring. Thank you very much for providing the link there, Rushain. Great opportunity. So everyone, thank you for all your questions. We're going to wrap up here. So we are really out of time. I hope that has been a useful dive into answering questions with data. As I mentioned at the beginning of the session, if you are interested in more training from Google Digital Garage, there are a few ways you can continue learning. We are running many more Google Digital Garage webinars in different subjects. If you would like to check out the schedule, the address is further down on this page that you're watching this on. Also, if you would like to carry on learning online, there's Google Digital Garage website online training, for example, fundamentals of digital marketing, very helpful. You can do that 24/7 whenever you're free. Finally, if you have any questions, please, or feedback and everything, we'd love to hear. If you can communicate with us now, that would be fabulous. If we want to go even further, there's team@thedigitalgarage.co.uk. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rushain. You've been absolutely fabulous. Got to make sure I can get all this ready. So we really do look forward to welcome you again to another Google Digital Garage training session soon. Thank you.